The St. Kitts-Nevis Labour Party is very excited that Timothy Harris has finally announced the date for the general election on June the 5th, 2020, with the nomination day set for May the 27th, 2020. The St. Kitts-Nevis Labour Party is prepared. It is enthusiastic, and it is fully mobilized to contest the election within the bounds of the rule of law and in a manner that is free, fair, and free from fear to all participating parties. And so I take this opportunity to assure you that the next Gen SKN St. Kitts-Nevis Labour Party, the machinery, is organized, it is well oiled, and it is running on all cylinders. Unlike the outgoing regime, our party is ready and anxious to face the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. We are confident that our citizens and residents have had an opportunity to compare and contrast and have determined that over the last 5 years, our country has been moving in the wrong direction under a despotic, nepotistic, incompetent, and uncaring government. The time has come for the people of St. Kitts and Nevis to exercise the power of their franchise and elect the leadership they deserve with a joyful expectation for a brighter future for us all. When the Labour administration left office back in 2015, St. Kitts and Nevis was one of the leading economies in the Eastern Caribbean and pioneer and success story in human development. Our treasury, it was flushed with some $900 million and almost $1 billion in the Sugar Industry Diversification Fund. For the first time in the history of the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, the Labour government paid back almost $50 million of unused funds while reducing our outstanding debt to the IMF to a little over 60% of GDP. In other words, we left more than enough money to pay off the IMF and continue to build the nation of St. Kitts and Nevis. Under the prudent and astute management, the Labour administration, our federation became the first country in the world to fully return an International Monetary Fund loan. Where are we today? Where are we now? In the middle of the economic fallout from the COVID-19 pandemic, it is pellucidly evident that the outgoing regime does not have the capacity, it does not have the skill, it does not have the competence to provide the necessary support and assistance to the thousands who have now lost their jobs and the many businesses which are struggling to stay afloat. In their greatest moment of need, our citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis and residents have nowhere to turn for help. Harris's constant boasting of surplus after surplus has been proven, like many of the unfulfilled promises in his 2015 manifesto, to be nothing more than big, fat lies and propaganda. The reckless looting of the Social Security Fund, yet again, is ample testimony to that fiction. The so-called COVID-19 emergency economic stimulus plan has been woefully inadequate and has failed miserably to reach those who need it most, while the regime has turned a deaf ear and a blind eye to their pleas. Under the government's politically motivated state of emergency, many of our citizens find themselves impoverished by this crisis and have been forced to rely on food aid in order to feed, clothe, and house their families. At a time when food security is of the highest priority, our farmers are treated with scant regard as the animals die off because of political discrimination in the distribution of Betikal. That is the outrageous behavior of a regime that claims to have surplus after surplus after surplus and lies after lies. My fellow citizens, we will be fighting this battle on an uneven playing field as the government, it makes every attempt to rig the elections in their favor. Only today, it was reported to us that the supervisor of elections, Mr. Elvin Bailey, rejected presiding officers whom the Prime Minister believed to be Labour supporters. The upcoming election is a battle for the very soul of our nation, your nation, St. Kitts-Nevis. The real voters of St. Kitts-Nevis must make it known through the ballot that you do not and you will not accept the unprecedented low to which our nation has been taken in all areas and in all sectors. And so, my fellow citizens, my residents, fellow residents, comrades and friends, the pathway to economic recovery will not be easy. We must all take this upcoming election very, very seriously. It is going to be one of the most important decisions that you will ever make. The time has come to get our country back on track. The choice you make at the polls is clear. If you want to return to your jobs, you will make the right choice and vote Labour. If you want decent, affordable housing, you will make the right choice and vote Labour. If you want first-class health care, you will make the right choice and vote Labour. If you want good governance, want to see an end to victimization and crimes against women, you will make the right choice about nepotism and one family government. You definitely will make the right choice and vote Labour. The government is now threatening our children's education. If you want to see the education system, you will make the right choice and vote Labour. And if you want to stop being a second, this election is about trust and leadership. And as you go to the polls with the present economic doldrums, who has the proven leadership credentials to with the experience and leadership skills to tackle the challenges of the post-COVID environment? We have the track record of successful crisis management, and our well-balanced next-gen team is fully equipped to do it again and again. And together, we will make St. Kitts-Nevis #1 again. God bless you, and may God bless you to know that Dr.